we are live. We are live on the Orange Chair Dialogue with two of my favorite people. And I don't say that to everybody. Well, I kind of do, but I
feel
mean
like
it.
you do.
I really mean it tonight. We are with Rikka Undem and Rikka Brandon. It's getting real with Rebecca and Rikka. That's kind of hard to say. So welcome, ladies.
Hey, Jody. Hey, Rikka.
So glad to be here with two of my favorites, but like Jody, I have kind of a lot of favorites.
Yeah, I like a lot of people. It's okay.
It's true. So I don't know if you guys, Rikka, maybe you do, but Rebecca, I bet you don't know what the Orange Chair Dialogue's all about. So let me just fill you in real quick. Back in COVID, at the beginning of COVID, I had a friend from high school who wanted to meet with me, but there was no place to meet because everything was closed. And he said, well, what if I just come to your driveway? And this was, April-ish, and it was cold out. But I said, okay. So we took two red camp chairs from my garage and put them in the driveway and had a great conversation. And I thought, hey, red chair driveway dialogues. This is a thing. I'm going to do this. And so I had one 2 days later. That was on a Monday. And on Wednesday, I had another red chair driveway dialogue, but the red chair broke. It had been in the garage for so long. It was like rusted away. So the red chair died. But when I brought up this concept to myself, actually, I talked to myself about this and I went, red doesn't fit my color scheme. So it's going to be orange. And that's where the Orange Chair Dialogue came from. So that's what we do on Tuesdays. We just talk to really cool people like you guys. So welcome.
Orange is my favorite color. So I'm 100% down for that change.
Orange is the color of the Oaks tornadoes. So I'm down.
They are Halloween colored just like the Moorhead Spuds.
Yes, we are. Orange and black. Fight, team, fight.
Right.
So I wanted to talk to you guys for a lot of reasons tonight. I'm not going to be able to get a word in edgewise, so I'm just going to talk right at the beginning, and then I'll shut up so you guys can talk. But I am so excited to have a conversation with two other small town girls who have made it big in the world. I say other like I include myself in that because all of us grew up in small towns in North Dakota. Rebecca grew up in Oaks. Rikka grew up in, I was going to say Mayville, but I'll say Portland.
Good job, Jody, because I would have corrected you.
I know
she would have. Yeah,
I know. For sure. And I grew up in
gas on our cars up there, don't we, Rebecca? Anyway.
And both of these ladies are amazing human beings. And I'm just going to go really quick and give you just a really brief overview because you'll get to know them a lot better if you're listening in. So Rikka's bio says, I am a bit of a freak of nature. I'll admit it. And you'll notice that. She says, I was born to be an entrepreneur. Challenge, change, chaos, and excitement. Sign me up. So Rikka says she's wired to recruit and she has a recruiting business. So she'll tell you more about that. She works with a lot of organizations all over the world. So Rikka, that's your brief overview. And Rebecca, I don't even know where to start because you have so much on your professional bag.
It's very long.
But it's so interesting. So Rebecca learned early in her career what matters most is people. And she's the author of the book, How Mommy Got Her Groove Back, a speaker who gained her chops as a people developer through an international talent management firm, which we need to hear about. She's worked with hundreds of company leaders to improve their bottom line results by focusing on their greatest asset, their people. Rebecca got the bug to move to the big city, did so, found her niche, and then, well, you can tell us the story about how you ended up back in your hometown being a mover and shaker in your town. So there you go. There's your brief overview. So Rikka, I've talked to you most recently. So Rebecca, hey, how would you describe yourself to people?
How I describe myself to people.
Freak of nature is taken.
Yeah, freak of nature is taken. Oh man, Jody, I don't describe myself to people very often. I guess you should make Rikka describe me. Rikka and I know each other really.
You guys know each other really well. Why don't you do that? So Rikka?
Yes. I would love to describe Rebecca.
Please do. That way I don't have to say things, and I'll say things about you.
Okay, that's perfect. That?
Okay, if anybody listening knows me, I have a big old amount of energy and personality, and I was at the On the Moms live event, and Rebecca was emceeing, and I was like, it's actually, I met you too, Jody. You were speaking at a WBE event a million years ago. And afterwards, I'm like, hey, I'm pretty sure we're supposed to be friends. I think I actually made both of you my friends with that same exciting approach of you're super cool and I'm pretty sure I'm super cool and we should be friends. And so Rebekah was just so powerful on the stage and so real. And I think that is something that I personally resonate deeply with, is somebody who is willing to laugh at themselves, but also is 100% solid in their core belief in themselves and doing the right thing and doing the things they believe in. And so luckily, Rebekah, I did say, I also recently learned that the arrow on the gas tank indicates the side that you would fill up on, because I was like, I don't know, 37 or something when I learned that handy trick. And so we connected and then we met, and she's amazing hair, and I've been trying to copy it forever, but I can't. So that's a different story. It's a little sad one, but I will say this. I have been a recruiter since 2001. I am wired 100% for recruiting. And Rebekah has shifted some long-held beliefs I have. One of the things she did that was the most powerful to me was getting me to believe in mission statements and core values, because I mostly thought they're a bunch of crap. People, they do a little event to discover them, and then they promptly ignore them. And so she helped me discover the core values for myself and my own company, and it was unbelievably liberating. And she also, like, I joke we should have a podcast called Rikka and Rebekah Talk Recruiting and Retention and Disagree Frequently, because I'm a recruiter and she's a retainer. But she has a ginormous heart, and she will do anything to help you succeed. She sees potential where you have lost belief in yourself, and she can show you the path. And I, as a small town girl, the fact that she has focused her energy and her heart on growing small towns makes me like, I'm goose bumping up here, spirit bumping, whatever you want to call it. It's the greatest thing for small towns, particularly in North Dakota, because she's a force of nature. She might not be a freak of nature, but she's a force of nature. And when she sees something needs to be done, she's going to get it done. So that is how I would describe my friend Rebekah.
Holy Rikka! Yeah.
And can we just say, was so clever that she had a child on my birthday.
I did.
Andrew, 4/7s forever. And on my husband's birthday. So,
wow.
Yep, Carter and Chris. So anyway, that, of course, was, I assume she planned that to be friends with us later down the road. But.
Clearly.
Oh my gosh, and that was totally unscripted and impromptu.
That
Rikka.
was so kind, Rikka. Now I just wish I was like sitting in that office with you.
Yeah. Well, you probably wish you had it.
I know.
Somebody brought an adult beverage to the Orange Chair Dialogue.
That's exactly what the Orange Chair Dialogue's for. So
Love
guess
it.
what?
Wow.
It's your turn, Rebekah. How would you describe Rikka?
So it's our friendship it started exactly the way she described. She walked up to me and she's like, "Hey," I mean, like that, very Rikka. I always say you can hear her coming before you see her even. And she said, "Hey, I think we're supposed to be friends." And shortly after that, we just immediately hit it off. And so Rikka is all the things that her website says she is, of course. But there are a few things that I can honestly say I've never met anybody exactly like this. So I've never met a woman who is so okay with passing off the stuff that traditionally belongs in our purview. Like when it comes to, she's a mom and she's a wife, and being raised in small towns, like there have been so many times I'm like, where's your guilt? Like, what is happening? Because it's good because she has challenged me in all the best ways to just say, like, if you hate that so much, then pay someone else to do it. And again, I would say huge value to me as a friend, because I still have a lot of money shit, if I'm going to be honest. Can I? I just.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, sorry.
I'm glad you stepped into that.
I did it first, Rikka. I broke it. It's broke the seal.
The F word will be coming out, I'm pretty sure.
It may. But I do. I have a lot. I carry a lot of stuff about money, and it's because I grew up.
That's the F-bomb.
That's a gift from Rebekah.
It is. It's a paperweight. So when Rikka came into my life and she was challenging me, like I was really challenged by this, it was one of those things I was just like, but I feel like I should do that, which we do with millions of things. Right. But such a powerful influence for me in that respect. And then Rikka, so many people know Rikka as just a fierce entrepreneur, right? We know her in this, like, business setting, and we see all of the value she adds, and she's incredible. But I feel really privileged to know her as a mom. She's a spectacular mother. And she's got great children. Like, we love her children. Our kids really like each other. And so we love hanging out with them. It's easy friendship. It's our families just gel together. And I feel really safe with her, which is, again, like, she doesn't necessarily give that off. Like, this is, she doesn't show up like, you're safe with me. You gotta go. I'm a little afraid right now. But she does have this just beautiful. She said, I have a huge heart. I think her heart is at least the same. We have big old hearts. And when you get to experience that, it's an incredible gift. So, yeah.
Oh, you guys, you just did a beautiful job of that. That was beautiful.
I was going to say, Rebecca and I came up with the idea of family sleepovers where moms could have potentially too much wine, but there was no transporting kids. The kids could hang out, and then we would hang out.
Everybody's happy.
Our kids
Everybody wins.
Like, yeah, it's so great. And our kids are close enough to the same age that everything works great. And they're like, Rebecca's kids are amazing too. Like, I'm big fans, right? And that is, I just think that's the part where it's like, not only, like I joke, it takes a special person to have, myname.com. Jody, you can be with us on this, right? Like, it takes a special kind of moxie to do that. And then to find somebody who parents like you, because I have high expectations. Like, my whole family knows it. My kids know it. We talk about it. This is who I am. And I'm sorry, I can't turn it off, but I do try. I spend a lot of time apologizing for it, But,
Do you still?
Yeah, I do. Cause I think, my kids we're very, very lucky. They are very socially, they don't have any social troubles and they don't have any academic troubles. And yet I'll be like annoyed about something. And then like their teacher will be like, that's ridiculous. And I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. Like, what are other 5th and 6th graders like? Because I'm like, God, why can't they just sweep the floor? Like, why can't they just notice it and do it? And they're like, that doesn't happen. And I'm like, oh, right, that wouldn't have been me either as a kid. So, yeah, anyway, parenting is like the greatest learning experience of all time. And I mean, Jody, you knew me back when I was certain I was never having kids.
Yep.
So
yeah,
I was very surprised. Can I also say another really cool thing about, I think, about our friendship? So much so that my own dad has said that's a really special friendship. Is that like we have different paradigms about things. Like I come from a religious family. Like, we do church every Sunday. We have reasons for that, right? And Rikka doesn't necessarily operate in that same paradigm. Politically,
I come from a similar, less intense religious background than Rebecca, but my family, like, when I realized this isn't my path, like, for example, I'm hosting Easter this year, and I'm like, I don't feel comfortable hosting Easter. Like, I'm super good with everybody coming, but like, am I gonna have to find a church? Like, my dad's like, nobody's counting on you to find a church. But I do like to joke that I am the only minister in the family because I am a Universal Life certified minister. So
Rikka can do your services for you. You're ordained.
I've really technically only done one baby blessing, but it got rave reviews. So,
and then politically, we've had some really great conversations about politics, and it always, honestly, when we have these conversations, it always comes from a place of love and curiosity and respect for each other.
So there you have it, everyone. That is possible to have, different opinions about things and come to the place where we respect each other enough and can find that common ground. I've been looking for that for the last 5 years, you guys. And I've been having those kinds of conversations. That's why Gabrielle was born, to find those conversations that we can agree to. Even if we do disagree politically, religiously, whatever it might be, we still respect each other for who we are as human beings. And thank you for that example.
Well, and we love each other. I mean, we actually love each other. And the love that we have for each other is more important than differing opinions about things.
Right. And I would say that both of us would respect differing views, but our relationship and who we are as people allows us to have a much deeper conversation about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
an honest one too.
Yeah. And I just think it's so powerful because there's some things like, I'm like, okay, I got to have you explain that to me. Right. Like, where does it come from? And it's like, it's enlightening, right? And anyway, but yeah, I think, politics and religion, we don't agree on. And if you could pick two hot buttons in today, those would be two. Like, and it's one of those things where I always say, like, I'm a recruiter. She's a retainer.
Yeah.
Like, she's about developing them. I'm like, let's get one who can do it, who loves it, who's engaged. Like, and it's, and I think that we've both grown through it. Just as the fact I am not domestic at all. I don't enjoy it. I'm not good at it. I'm much better at making money, and then somebody can come and help. By the way, I just want to celebrate with you guys. Thursday, my daily person who comes and does the traditional wife stuff, like unload the dishwasher, wash the dishes, produce prep. She starts again daily on Thursday after a COVID break.
Wow.
Our whole family's excited because
I bet.
I bet this has been a long year.
Oh, that's so funny. That's just so perfect, you guys. This is just so perfect. So I want to talk a little bit before we get into more like random stuff. Tell me about having grown up in a small town in the state of North Dakota and how that shaped you. If you can look back. I know, Rebecca, what order are you in your family of child?
So I'm the second of two. So I'm the youngest.
Youngest.
Yeah.
You guys are both the youngest. And I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but I would think in a lot of cases it does. So tell me how your upbringing made you who you are, or did it?
Oh, I totally want to go first.
Okay, go first.
Do it. Go.
Here's another difference. I'm not athletic. I know you look at me and think, surprising, because she's the peak of physical fitness, right? I'm not athletic. I am a natural born leader, right? I accidentally become the president of many things, and so I grew up in a small town. I'm the youngest of four. There's 5 years between me and my brother. I thought I was an accident for a long time until my math teacher mother looked at me and said, "Do you think I'd make that kind of mistake?" And I was like, not really, actually. I guess I don't, you're pretty calculated in all your things. But I say it's the perfect storm, right? Where like I was so far behind them that I was like kind of a living baby doll, and they couldn't pick on me because it would have just been mean, right? They would have always been in trouble. And so it created this kind of perfect storm of somebody who's like, well, of course I'm the center of the world. For 7th grade on, I was an only child. And prior to that, I was the center of everyone's world. Right. So pair that with my natural wiring and you get this. Small towns. I truly believe I started my first company when I was 26, and I 100% credit growing up in a small town where everybody knew it. If you said it, you were going to hear about it later. If you were playing fast and loose, your mom and dad were going to know about it. I really, truly believe there is very little else that trains you for entrepreneurship and small business than growing up in somewhat of a fishbowl. And just, I think it also teaches you more patience, kind, and understanding of, here's the deal. Like, we have a lot of shared experiences, but we don't always agree, but there's more that's alike in our lives than different. Which I think is something, when you look at generations, there's a lot of opportunity there. My dad, at no point did me having a uterus matter. I had to learn to rotate all the tires. I had to learn to change the oil before I could drive my car. I had to drive tractor. I had to drive truck. At no point was the fact that I was a girl. It never even occurred to me that it would mean I should play by different rules. And I'm beyond grateful to this day because my worlds are largely male dominated and I don't care at all. I don't even realize. I'm like, whatever, that's cool. I can play. And so I think those are some things that are powerful. I also think, part of me wonders what it would have been like in a big school where I could have had, choir friends and this and that friends. But when I grew up, I was in Mayport, but I had a ton of friends in Hatton, married a guy from Hatton, ton of friends in Northwood, tons of friends in Clifford, Galesburg. Finley, Sharon was my second home for a long time. So my world was regional, and it helped that I live on a farm kind of in the middle of all of them. But I don't know that experience is easily replicated. And I like to joke now, right? Like they used to call my sister Sitcom Sarah because we raised like every animal known to man because my dad was a 4-H leader for 20 years. Like you name a domesticated farm animal and I have raised them and probably have a funny story about them. So that to me, I didn't love sports and I played because everybody plays, right? And you're part of the team until thank God I could quit, right? Which is really how it felt to me. Like, thank God I finally checked that box. And both of you were very athletic. And, so I think people fear that small towns don't have a place for everyone, but they really do. Mm-hmm. And I think, I was never good at sports, like ever. I made a half-court shot in 8th grade basketball. It was like at that point I peaked for my athletic career. It was over right there. And it was mostly because when my dad would make me shoot hoops outside, I would just launch them up from forever because it was like, not what he wanted me to do, probably. But yeah, so I think small towns will always have a space in my heart. In fact, I often talk to Rebecca about like we need to do something on recruiting and hiring in small towns. My podcast with the LBM Journal just dropped with people from Marcus Lumber, which is in Marcus, Iowa, a town of 1,400 people. And the cool stuff they are doing around recruiting, they are actually direct recruiting. They have a recruiting package. And so
that's cool. I got to listen to that one, Rikka.
Yeah. And I mean, I often refer my clients or my prospects that are in smaller markets to Rebecca's website because I'm like, this is the person, like your brand in your small town matters a lot. So anyway, that is my thoughts on growing up in a small town and a farm kid. I also, fun fact, I had the Chevy sign shaved in the back of my head. Gosh. That was something to keep in mind.
I didn't even know that until just now.
I didn't either.
First car was a 57 Chevy pickup, got a 79 Camaro RS for my 16th birthday, which by the way, my 16th birthday was in the 90s. So it wasn't like a new car, but it was freaking fast.
So anybody listening, don't worry about not being able to catch all this. I'm going to be taking notes so that I can give you the resources later. So we're going to hear more about the LBM podcast and you'll tell us about that. I just want to take a break before we jump in. And Molly is saying, hi, small town girls. Hey, small town.
Oh, hey,
Molly.
It's Molly. I love Molly.
So if anybody out there wants to give any shout outs to Rebecca or Rikka or put any questions in the comments, feel free to do that. I'll be monitoring those. So Rebecca, how about you? Tell us about your upbringing and how it shaped you.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'm back where I grew up, right? So that's a trip. That's a big trip and not an easy thing to do. I'll just say that right off the top. But I think I didn't really think a lot about how my growing up here impacted me until we made the choice to come back. I mean, that's when it really hit me. So one thing for me, I grew up with my maternal grandparents, my paternal grandparents, and then a bonus set of grandparents. They lived down the gravel road from me. They babysat us when we were young. We called them grandpa and grandma, like didn't know better, and they didn't correct us, right? So they just adopted us, and I had 3 sets of grandparents. And so for me, I think, and I get to now raise my kids with the same kind of feeling, which is just incredibly special to me. Is just how truly loved I was. Like, I didn't just feel like I was like the shit. I was really loved by people, truly loved by people. And that is a special thing. And you become really close and really tight with other families. Like ours were made through our church family. My parents' best friends, they become, again, you're just like, people are really cheering for you, really rooting for you. And I don't know how that could ever be a bad thing for a kid's self-esteem or confidence. I just don't know any downside to that. The downside is like what Rikka talked about, like you can get away with nothing. I mean, you can get away with nothing. And so, yeah, that's a little tricky. Like all of your mistakes are public mistakes. Like, and that's
as a parent, I feel like there's some perks to that,
Totally. Yeah. I maybe didn't dig it so much when I was going through it, but like now it's just like, oh, go ahead, kids, try. Even now they'll be like, what? That's right. That's right. We know things. So, I think it actually, I mean, I think there's a word that we don't talk about a lot. And it's the idea of being dutiful and having responsibility, like civically, especially, right? That is something that is just built into the fabric of who we are in small towns. And I didn't get that until I left and came back. Just how many people it actually takes to make a town run. I get it differently now. But those things are all really special. It's generations of people that have done the same thing or that you're a part of that. So the legacy thing for me is a huge part of what I'm really proud to be a part of.
Like Rebecca, so I was just home and I was at my farm. My parents are aging, whatever, and my sister-in-law always comes over and helps. And I grew up with my grandma across the farm and grandma in town, grandma and grandpa's in town. And my sister-in-law always comes and she's always really helpful. And she always does this stuff. And I'm like, why are you so helpful? Sure, it's to my benefit, but also I don't need you to do this for me. I do my best not to take advantage of her because part of me does want to take advantage of that good heart. And she's just like, that's just what you do. And I'm like, okay, I will say, not that Fargo-Moorhead is a big town, and certainly Moorhead isn't a large community, but her wiring to always find a way to support. And, when you grow up in a church, and I grew up in a church, a small rural church, everybody has their part. We all do our thing. My dad jokes he's been janitor to president 3 times in the last 50 years, right? Every job in between. Yeah. And I just, so I think that's so dutiful. And when you get away from it, you're like, wow, that is a lot of work for free. Well, maybe that's just me. Probably other people don't look at it like that. But it's what it takes to make it work.
But I think, so it's funny that you said that, because I do think that there's a lot of resentment that builds over time from certain people in a town like mine. And I just think there is room for everybody's gifts. That is almost a drum that I will beat until I'm dead, that I've been gifted with things everybody has, and my job is to steward them well. Right. So, choosing the things that I can contribute and contribute well, and do it without that resentment, without, not because I don't want to disappoint people, but because it's really where I think I can serve. Yeah. There's enough for everybody, right? So it's when you say yes out of guilt that becomes a problem. So we
have a lot of jumping off places right here, you guys. I just want to stop for a second and acknowledge some of our comments. So this is from Chris. Chris is my business partner that we'll tell you more about, and he's loving your energy. Kara says, I had the honor of having Rebecca lead some of our Bobcat teams a few years ago.
Kara. Hey, Kara.
Kara knows the magic.
Yes, you.
Does. And Molly says, my church grandmas helped raise me too. So that's the beauty of small towns. So let's talk, Rebecca, a little bit about that guilt and about how it's wired into us from small towns and churches, probably. Talk a little bit about that resentment, Rebecca.
Yeah. So this is where duty becomes a dirty word, I think. Where you, again, just instead of looking at the request that's being made of you. So it's a request of your time or a request of your assistance or whatever, right? You're asked to serve in some way. And instead of taking a beat and not answering immediately, first of all, that's my first big tip. You can say, when do you need an answer by, and buy yourself some time to think about the thing, right? If you get accosted in the grocery store.
Write that down.
Yeah. If you get accosted in the grocery store, they stop us at the grocery store because they're hoping we won't say no. So just say, hey, thank you so much for asking. I need a minute. When do you need an answer? Right. So, and then go home and really spend some time with it and think about it and think. And again, I would say this goes both ways. This is both for those of us that get asked to serve and those of us that do the asking. If you're just asking somebody because they have a heartbeat, well, they should say no to you, right? Are we asking people based on fit? Are we asking people based on what we think that their skill sets and talents are? Because I'm a yes person. I'm a doer. Everybody knows that. I get asked to do stuff all the time. But when they come to me and I know they're just saying we have an open position, who'll do it, Rebecca Undem. It's almost right. It's almost insulting. It's almost insulting. So I think it comes down to saying, okay, what do I do well? What can I contribute? And sometimes maybe the answer is, I want to help and contribute this. I can't do the whole thing you asked me to do, but I can contribute in this way. Would that be of help or service, right? So, but I think the problem is just we say, if I don't do it, who else will?
Right.
And people say that, people actually say that. And like, but this thing has been going on for 50 years. If we don't do it, and I love to come back and just say, what happens if we don't?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this thing needs to die its natural death so that it can be reborn as something different. Sometimes we just get too, we're wrapped too tightly to the thing and we forget why we did it in the first place. And that's all reflective stuff that we have to do. Like no one can do that for us, but
right. So here's something that I've learned, and I'll give you this little thing.
Yeah, the hell yes.
If it's not a hell yes, or if it's not a hell no, it's hell.
Yeah, so true.
So when you learn, I'm learning to say hell yes. I don't say hell no very often, but
yeah, I don't either.
Hell yes.
I do. Well, I probably said hell no 4 times this week already, and it's Tuesday night.
We can learn from you, Rikka.
That's my professional life, right? That's contingency recruiting. I'm way more comfortable with that. That's a hard pass. Like, for example, a lot of people want me on their committee. I say, that's because you've never been on a committee with me. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 26 years old. Committees are god-awful painful for me. And all I want to do is shove you down to make an answer and quit talking about it. Like, you really actually don't want me. It might look like it from the outside, but you don't. So,
Rebecca, I'm sorry, I want to jump in because I want to say those things that you were talking about dying that need to die. I think in your town, I can speak specifically to you because you live in the town you grew up in. Mm-hmm. If those things didn't die, there wouldn't be room for somebody like you to come in and birth those new things. And that's what you're good at.
Right. Well, and that's how progress happens, right? It's allowing things to be.
I hear an echo.
I do too.
Rikka, do you have a headset?
I don't, but I also don't hear an echo.
Okay.
Do you just hear it from me?
No, but I think it's what happens when we'll keep going, Rebecca. We're good. I think we got it back.
Okay.
I normally I don't get an echo, so I'm a little bit startled if it's me, but I'll check my settings when you continue.
It's StreamYard, and it says if you ever hear an echo, you need to use earbuds. So we both have them in, so that's what I was wondering.
All right. Well, I can find some.
Okay.
Give me a minute.
Perfect. Cool. So, so that's, it's, again, I think it comes back to what is the intent of the thing? What's the purpose of the thing? And when I'm saying a thing, it could be an event, it could be a committee. There's all sorts of things that have endurance. Like, COVID took everything away this last year. And I think it's interesting to look at what stuff doesn't come back. And if it doesn't come back, it's because we found ourselves able to carry on without it. And maybe that's okay. It's very hard though. What I know for me is that when I came back, I was very hard charging about things. Like, oh, well, I've got experience and I'm smart, and not smarter, just smart. I was like, well, and I want to share and I want to change stuff. Well, whoa, like put the brakes on, man. People need time. People need time to warm up to you. We need to understand the landscape that we're trying to change before we just come right in and barrel through it. And it has taken, it took me a few years. I really struggled when we first moved back here.
Did they see you as little Rebecca Undem? Did they see you? I think so. As
Becky Rodine. They saw me as Becky Rodine.
Becky Rodine. Did they? Right. We know you when you were little, and yeah. I
think so. And gosh, maybe a lot of that was just it was projection. And maybe I felt like that as much as people saw me like that. I can't actually say that specifically that anybody said anything, but I didn't feel like I had grown up,
okay.
Until I kind of, I don't know. It's just a lot of work. It's taken a lot of work, some counseling and some therapy.
Really?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
How long have you been back?
12 years.
Okay. So do you want to tell a little bit about that story? You had
yeah.
aspirations and.
Yeah. So we were living in Fargo. My husband and I had been married for, I don't know, a few years anyway. I went to NDSU and I was in banking, and that just happened to be like the job that I applied for out of of college, right? Like I
What
got
was
a
your major?
business admin.
Okay.
Yeah, super boring. It was just like, it's marketable. Like, man, I have so many thoughts about that too, higher education and where it fits. But
that's another thing we're going to disagree on. Yay, business. Anyway, but am I echoing now?
Nope, you're good.
Nope, you're great. I'd say yay business, but I don't know that you need a 4-year just general business administration
Only
degree.
if you want to add over $1 million to your earning in your work life.
Yeah. Oh, we will disagree. That's okay. Okay. So I got a business admin degree, was working at a bank. And, initially it was like, I moved up and through it quickly, and that felt really good because I like to achieve stuff. Like, give me a gold star, give me all the gold stars. Like, I love it. And it was like promotions and titles and, like all the stuff. But even in kind of the peak of all of that, like I would have days where I was like, is this really all there is for me? Like, really, And then we moved to Montana for my husband's job, and I went to work for Wells Fargo. And it was like, I actually described it in my book as like the vision of getting a Barbie dream house, like wanting a Barbie dream house for Christmas. And then you get the Barbie dream house and you're like, is this all I get to do with this? So I had in my head the idea that Wells Fargo had the corporate banking feel that was sexy. And like all the things in my head that I thought would mean something to me. And I felt like a monkey in a cage at that job. It was a horrible fit for me. I mean, I'd gone from a small regional bank where I had lending authority and a title and like an office with a door to working in a cubicle with a guy that said like and every other word. And he made the same amount of money as I made. And we were held to, Wells Fargo got raked through the coals, right? With their selling scandal. And I was on the retail side. So it was Core Solutions. And I'm literally like unveiling their secrets, but you could read about it.
Yeah.
And everything about it was just like, this isn't what banking is supposed to be. It was just but what a beautiful experience. Didn't handle it very well. Hated my life, cried every day on my way to my job, that kind of a thing. And my husband didn't like what he did. We moved back to Fargo. I went back to the bank that I was at, and my oh, this is so great was just gone. And I was all of like 26, and I'm like, what do I do? So I just started networking. I mean, I was a banker, right? So I got to like network, and I just like, my job is to network. Like, obviously I had things I needed to do, but I did those things. And that was when I first was in a mastermind group. It was Carolyn Kramer. Way back.
2008.
And I was like, Think and Grow Rich. Like, so started to like get into that way of thinking. And then it's shortly after that I reached out to Tanya Stendy. Had coffee with Tanya. We hit it off immediately. And I started on my path to working with Dale Carnegie training.
So let me stop right here and say, Perry Hirth is a friend of yours. This is from Perry Hirth.
Oh, hi,
Rebecca,
Perry.
Rodine Undem rocks.
Oh, he's so awesome.
So, and then also I have a comment from Linnell Popowski, who says it's a struggle. You work around things. So she's just responding to something earlier. So, okay, so there you are, unfulfilled, getting back to the bank, which was shiny and fun when you left, and getting back and going, this isn't it.
Right.
So then what?
So that was in the spring of 2008 that I talked to Tanya Stendy, and I was going to start this path. And then my mom called and said, I'm starting a business on the farm. And I'm like, you are? Because my mom worked for my grandparents in the Ben Franklin store.
Yeah.
And so that was like, she was a florist. She was a florist at the time. She's really good at what she did. Never had an entrepreneurial bend that I really knew of, right? So I'm like, what kind of a business are you starting? And she's like, I'm going to start a pumpkin patch. I was just seriously like, what? Why? She's like, it's going to be really great. She said, we're going to put up a retail shop on the farm. And I'm like, you, what? Like, you are? So then she said, let's go to Madison, Wisconsin, and we'll go on a buying trip. And so that's when I learned like the whole thing, right? We met in Wapaton, North Dakota, and drove all the way to Madison, Wisconsin. So we had a long trip together. You know, this was pre-kids. We're still in Fargo. And it was on that trip that we started really hatching a plan of what it could look like if we'd moved back. So I could continue to pursue Dale Carnegie as like my main thing, but be there to help my mom. My dad's a 4th generation farmer. We have nobody to take it over. Could Jeremiah do that? And that's what we did. And then we came back from that trip. I pitched the idea to Jeremiah, and within less than a month, he came back permanently. And I stayed for the summer and put our house up for sale.
What was it that got him to say yes?
Oh, he worked for the government at the time. So he too just had that unfulfilling thing. Like, and I think I wouldn't say either of us were we were pretty risk averse. Like I worked for a bank, and he worked for the government. Like, what, you know? But I think he really loved the idea of farming. And we had a seed business as well. So I think, he had some serious apprehension, but it was kind of like, well,
Have you ever farmed? No.
No, which is also an interesting story for the times, right? Like, we're in a time where that's actually possible. Not easily, obviously, but like technology is amazing. So so then in August, I discovered I was pregnant with our son. And I had 3 days left at the bank, and that's a whole story.
That's why you buy the book, because the book is amazing and tells this story beautifully. Obviously you could work with Rebecca or, take her out for coffee or a drink, but the book is beautiful. Also, thanks, Rebecca, friend. Just request. I want you to tell the Ben Franklin circle of life connection, because I think that's the coolest.
That's a cool story.
Yeah. So that was then. And then I worked for Dale Carnegie. And then fast forward to today. So Growing Small Towns, which, we can talk a bit more about. So it was October 29th of 2020 that we closed on the Ben Franklin building. So I write about that building in the book, which was funny. So the book was written in 2016. Growing Small Towns wasn't on my heart yet in 2016. And I still wrote about the building. So that's how much that building meant to me. So we closed on it. We're doing a co-working space and training and event space in this big building. And the coolest thing was that when we were coming back from the closing, I found the warranty deed to my grandparents, and they signed for their property 40 years to the day earlier. Wow. They bought it on October 29th, 1980. And I was born 7 days later.
Wow.
That's the coolest. And Rebecca did a great post on Facebook, and she was all the feels, which is Rebecca.
Yes, and it is me, very me.
It was very you, and it was so cool. And as somebody who's super close to their grandparents, well, they're passed now, but just that connection is so cool. And I just felt like, man, if you were looking for a sign that this is what you were meant to do, here it is, right? And don't expect them to be this clear going forward.
Yeah, exactly. This is it, child.
No, I don't agree. I think you can totally expect them to be that clear.
All right, I like it.
You just have to be aware, and they're there. I'm telling you what.
Yeah.
So I agree. They're there. That's true. Yeah. You're right, Jody. I will acquiesce to your wisdom.
Thank you. One thing about being old and having gray hair is that I can do that every now and then with you guys.
One thing of almost 20 years of you asking me why repeatedly and helping me get through my own crap. So I'm likely to defer to you, because I've battled long and hard for over a decade and been proven wrong.
So Rebecca is doing this project in small towns. We'll talk more about the small towns, growingsmalltowns.org, which is her new passion. But Rikka, let's talk a little bit about your journey. Now you've been all over the place too. You've had a big vision from the time you said that earlier, from the time you were born, pretty much.
Yeah.
And you've done a lot of things, and you've crashed pretty hard.
Oh my gosh, that's another great story of Rebecca and I. So I dream big and I fail hard. I succeed too. Don't get me wrong. It's not just all failures, right? But I go for things that most people don't go for. And when you do that, reach for the star or reach for the moon, you'll land amongst the stars. And sometimes gravity gets you and you hit the ground, right? And so Rebecca, similar to Jody, and like, I actually believe I'm super coachable, but I'm probably not as coachable as I think, except for wonderful ladies like these two. And Rebecca really pushed me way outside my comfort zone. So a while ago, I think maybe 2 years now, I was in On the Minds of Moms, and it was really kind of about my ability to find the silver lining. And I joke that Rebecca didn't get nearly enough money because there was like hours of psychology and coaching for me of like, I'm like, the people at my church at home are going to read this and think I'm a total loser. And she's like, there's nobody's going to read this and think you're a loser, right? So anyway, that was Rebecca. Oof, that was a tough one, wasn't it? That was probably the most coaching I've ever needed on anything. Well,
yeah,
not anything, but
the hardest thing to ever write. I mean, for me it was, but
so what was hard about it? Explain that for the people who are listening.
Like for me or for her? Well,
for each of you.
For me, it was hard because I could see what the story should be. And it's not a story, it's Rikka. Like I could see as her friend and a writer, you know, like this is what the world, it's like, this is what the world needs to know, because she carries herself a certain way through the world. And there's so much that went into her being able to walk through the world like this. Right. And it's not, you know, like opening the kimono kind of thing at all. It's like literally the real.
Nobody wants that.
It's the real story.
Before mentioned, not athlete. No,
it's the realness, right? The trueness of who she is and what she's been through. And it was painful for me because I really had to fight. Like there were times where I was like, Rikka, you are being too in your head about this. Like, and your ego's in the way. You know, so to have to say that to her, that was challenging. But I felt like we definitely got through it. But there were times where I was like, I cannot do this.
I'm like, I love you. I hate this so much. Like, but I'm trying to trust you because I know you would never throw me under the bus. And, you know, long story short, Rebecca was right. I am, people who don't know me well are like, wow, she's not scared of anything. And she just, you know, everything she touches turns to gold. And like, that could not be further from the truth, right? I've had some epic fails in my life. And when that article went out, I mean, the amount of outpouring I got, and it's like, I like transparency in my coaches, you know, which Rebecca really helped me remember. Like, I like to hear that it's not sunshine and roses all the time, because I don't think that's true, but I can pretty much always find the silver lining about what I learned from that. And so when it went out, I mean, I had so many people reach out to me and say like, oh my gosh, like made me feel like things are possible, because I always thought because of how I am, like nothing bad happened. And I didn't have to like dust myself off and wipe my tears and move on. And you know, it was weird because again, not a religious person, but I grew up in a tiny town where there is a lot of people from my tiny rural church that are cheering for me. You know, because of small town connections, I spoke at the college president's inauguration, you know, all of that stuff. And all these people just reached out and they're like, this is so powerful. And like, of course you would share this. Like, you're just, and I'm like, that's not really true. There was a lot of encouragement needed, but
I'll tell you, like, I can share my ickiness. It's like, there was a part of me that was like, I did not get near enough credit for this. This work. That's just my ego getting in the way. But
I mean, I would like to think I acknowledge, like, I'm sorry you are not getting paid enough for this, because I am all sorts of a hot mess about it. And yet I do think it, you know, and I've been pretty comfortable sharing my messes over my life. Like, I went bankrupt. I had $1 million business when I turned 29, and I realized like, oh my God, I hate my job. But I'm the owner, and I'm like, this has been my whole life, right? And then the market crashed, and Rikka Inc. went bankrupt, right? And so it's like, you know, talk about having your life wrapped up in it. It's the company's named after you. And yet it was like the greatest thing ever, because I was able to go lean, mean, and profitable. But the ego, right? Our ego is a tricky thing, and it, you know, it sounds like our soul sometimes. So anyway, yeah. I'm actually pretty stoked, because right now for those of you who don't know me at all, I've been a building products recruiter working with manufacturers and distributors across the US and really in multiple countries outside the US for a long time, since 2001, actually. I also have worked with a lot of small businesses to help them hire better. And I just finally like in the last 2 days have really decided like, okay, I'm going to follow my heart. Service-based business owners are my people. Entrepreneurs are my people, like people who are willing to like put it on the line. And I know I can change their lives by helping them hire better. And so I'm making a massive pivot from building products to small businesses. Yeah, like right here. This is like dropping on an orange chair dialogue.
Wow.
Like, and it's like terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. Like Rebecca and Jody will likely be coaching me through this, but
I see so many possibilities.
I do too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
What?
I know. It's like I like trying to adult, right? And those of you who know me well know I have like ADHD, and like the next shiny object is super appealing to me. So I've been trying really hard to stick with it. And again, just like when I started my first company, my very risk-adverse husband said, why aren't we doing this? He's like, they're your people. They light you up. There's millions of them. And it's just, I don't know if anybody has that. Like I'm the risk taker in my family, and my husband is the safety and security guy. I've described our marriage as he's the guy with the kite, and the kite is woo in the air, and it crashes to the ground sometimes, and he dusts it off and gets it back up in the air again. So when he says to me, this is where you need to go. And I'm thinking, this isn't safe. Like I have agreements with multi-billion-dollar companies, and I'm in multiple national publications and all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, all of that can be replaced. And I'm like, wow. So anyway, and you guys both know Chris very well. So when I'm huge, when I'm the voice of reason, we're in a weird, strange place. So
no, this is good.
My mind's a little blown, friend.
Yeah. And for anybody on there, rikkabrandon.com, which is obviously my name spelled here handily, because otherwise I would spell it for you. The website needs a little love because it has not been my focus for several years. But if you are hiring, definitely check out the blog. There's a lot of videos and a lot of helpful information. And we are getting the site cleaned up. But forgive me for broken links or weird embed issues. But anyway, but if you're hiring, there's a lot of great information there, and I'm super stoked about this transit. I mean, I'm terrified and also excited, right?
So there's a lot going on in this conversation, everybody, and it's good. I want everybody to know that both Rikka and Rebecca are authors and have books that I would love you to take a look at. Rebecca's is called How Mommy Got Her Groove Back, and Rikka's is called Higher Power, Hire, Higher Power.
It's punny, right?
It's funny. I love that. I love that. And I have, I put Rikka Brandon. It's probably RebeccaUndem.com.
Yeah, they can find me there too. Yep.
So there's a lot of ways to find these ladies. This is Rebecca's new project, GrowingSmallTowns.org. Do you want to just give us a brief overview of what that is, Rebecca?
Yeah. So in 2019, we formed a 501c3, which that's a chore and a half, man. Whoa. But it's okay. It's the right model for what we're trying to do. So Growing Small Towns is a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to help the communities we serve be places that people love to call home. So that's the flyover, like what the point of it is. We kind of our programs focus on three main pillars. So one is a celebration of art and culture. We just think that's where the kind of stuff happens that make people excited about being in your place. So music and art and self-expression and all the creativity that can come from those kinds of events. So yoga and all of it, right? Mm-hmm. All of that stuff. Entrepreneurship and small businesses, they're the backbone of our community. I'm actually now our economic developer in my community as well. And, there was a time when a more traditional approach was recruiting companies that had multiple jobs, right? I don't think that's the way forward for small communities anymore. It really is the growth of small businesses, hiring 1, 2, 3 people at a time. Also, it gives you a cool and eclectic mix of businesses that, again, kind of add to that sense of place for people. And then the third is about personal development, because at the end of the day, we're all people, and our communities tend to do a really great job of making sure our students and our kids are handled as far as having a plethora of ways for them to try things and experience things. And I think that adults get forgotten about. So I just want to be sure that we're constantly challenging all of ourselves to think outside the box, to grow, to try new things, to fail flagrantly and be okay with it. So
fail forward, baby.
Fail and try lots of stuff, and it's all good. So that is hopefully all of that can take place in this new renovated space in my grandparents' old building, which we affectionately call her Dorothy Jane. Like during the renovation, that was my grandmother's name.
Aww.
And she's a beaut. She's like, it's coming along so well, and it's just
when will it be ready?
June 1st is what we're hoping. Yeah.
And the plan is to allow people to, you said some co-working, but what else is going to go on in that space?
Well, one of the big things is I was kind of telling Jody this before, there's resource providers all around the state, and basically their job is to serve every single pocket of the state. And yet they don't effectively do that because you have to know somebody and have somewhere to land. So like Train ND is a great example of a resource provider that has agreed to partner with us, and they'll have a home at Growing Small Towns. The Center for Technology and Business, the Women's Business Center, those women do business advising. They're going to have office hours in our space. Dakota Business Lending, they do financing for small communities. They're going to have office hours in our space. So the goal is to say, hey, all of you people that serve our people, come and land here. And then we'll have a place for them to be. So it's not even anything novel. I don't even have to create anything. I just have to, orchestrate it and facilitate it. And I'm happy to do that because there's so many people that want to help us.
Yeah, that's so great because people want to be part of a successful venture. Right. So I need to go back to some of our comments here. Molly says it's wonderful when you have a supportive significant other who supports your terrifying transitions. She says she's lucky to have one. Yeah. Carrie Leopold, who is also an entrepreneur.
Hi, Carrie.
Powerhouse.
Carrie's like so cool. And I saw Inspiration Lab practicing their live skills the other day, which made my heart happy.
Super
my
fun.
kids got their second time on TV with Inspire Lab. So I'm a huge fan of Inspire Lab. And if anybody's wondering, I'll be happy to say how amazing they are.
There we go. Molly says organic growth is where it is. It's not necessarily about huge numbers, but it is about quality. And Linnell, I think this is Linnell. I have to look over here. Yeah, so awesome and inspiring. Molly also says, I'm so excited for Dorothy Jane.
Thanks, Molly.
And Carrie also loves Dorothy Jane. So.
I gotta see Dorothy Jane. I'm like, I feel very left out. So we'll have to arrange it for June 1st, whenever you have your grand opening. Well,
we are going to have a grand opening.
Is it going to be called Dorothy June?
No, we're just calling her that. Like
name.
Yeah. So my kids and we would always go in there, and I said to the kids, like, especially my little, right? So Brinley's only 6, and she's got just the best energy. So we would walk into the building and we would go, hello, building. Like, we'd always say, like, we're here to love you back to life. Like, we were always talking to the building, and then we'd say goodbye to the building. And I said, like, once we bought it, I said, I want to name her. Like, and I felt like it needed to be a her. Yeah. And I just thought, like, so we can talk about improving her, and I can use her, and I can call her thing. So yeah, it's just, that's not what it's going to be called. It will be called Growing Small Towns, but
I feel like that's one of those things where then it's going to be called Dorothy Jane, but it's going to have like a real name, but everybody's going to call it Dorothy Jane.
Yeah, and if they do, I'll be down. I don't even care.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're not going to care, but I do think people will connect to that, and it will live on beyond your family.
It's really special. Yeah.
That's really cool. You guys, I know we could continue talking forever. There's so much here. So if you're watching this live or later, especially if you're watching this later and you didn't get a chance to see it live, there are so many opportunities to connect with these two ladies. So RikkaUndem.com, you can see their names on the screens. All three of us have our own websites and our own names on our websites. So
special group, my name.com.
Rikka is transitioning. She just dropped the bomb for us. Transitioning from male-dominated only business or recruiting for building industry to small businesses now, where her heart really is.
I can't even believe it.
But don't worry, I'll be calling on you ladies because you guys fill gaps that I don't have. So
we're there for you.
Leadership development, management development, retaining people development.
It's gonna be fun.
I'm a storyteller.
It's all good.
So fun.
So, Molly's telling you personification at its finest. So
Molly's with me. It's going to be Dorothy Jane pretty soon, right?
So please reach out to these ladies. Please reach out to find out more from them and also be in their space, because if there's any way you can be with them virtually or especially live is a little bit overwhelming, but it's good. But it's really good to be with these ladies in real life. You just got to buckle up a little bit.
Problem, Jody.
Be ready.
There's sort of things to say. We might need to focus. But instead, we gave everybody a lot. It's like a sampler.
That's right.
It's a charcuterie board.
I would have said that, but I didn't know how to say it.
I know. I've seen it written. I don't know how to say it. Right. Exactly.
Anyway.
Charcuterie. So you guys, thank you so much for this. This will be the first of many conversations.
Oh,
thank you so much for the invite. It was super fun, and my energy cup is all filled up.
Yay! All right, you guys.
I love you guys.
I love you too
so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Don't you